Know what this is doing way over here. Welcome to everyone, and welcome to those of you at home that have chosen to bring us into your living rooms and your bedrooms and your kitchens today. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anyone who's here for the very first time? Yay, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So for you, my name is Reverend Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I'm the senior minister of this awesome community. And we are a community that follows and practices the teachings of Ernest Holmes. We believe that there is one power and presence. We call that power and presence God. And we know that it is within us and surrounding us. We know that it is benevolent, and that there is a power for good in the universe, and that we can use it to create lives that we absolutely love to live. And we come here to be with each other, to celebrate that fact and to celebrate each other. So welcome very much. Thank you for being here.
And the reading today is from Ernest Holmes. He says, "This season can be a powerful opportunity to call upon our ancient wisdom, teaching, and spiritual practices. It can be an opportunity to accept the perennial invitation and step through the threshold of consciousness. We can do this by consciously invoking and giving birth to the Christ consciousness within ourselves. The great teacher proclaimed, 'You are the light of the world.' This decree set forth by the great teacher did not say, 'One day you'll be the light of the world,' or 'Suffer or work hard and you will earn the right to be the light of the world.' He simply expressed what is true of all of us, what is already an established truth of our being, what lives within all of us, but awaits an opening within us to be experienced and expressed."
So welcome to those of you who may have just arrived in the sanctuary while my back was turned. You missed all the tomfoolery. I'll have you know that. The CSL theme of the month of December is the living spirit. Our underlying tagline is God is all around when we have ears and eyes to see. It's going to be one of those days. My talk title this morning is Lighten Up, which we've been doing in spades. Now, my guess is that, well, maybe not so much anymore, but in this moment, many of you may be thinking about a particular time that you told somebody to lighten up. Or maybe when you were told to lighten up. Now, perhaps it was a parent or an authority figure who was giving you an earful about something that you had done that you believed really wasn't that big of a deal. And so your retort back to them was something like, "Oh, geez, just lighten up already." Or maybe it was someone else that had some judgment around something that you were saying that to them felt way too serious for the situation, and so their comment to you was lighten up. Now anyway, whichever way, whatever comes to mind for you in this moment could quite possibly be laden with some uncomfortable memories. Or maybe even in this moment with some uncomfortable feelings about the interaction. You might have felt then, or even be feeling now, some anger or some shame, reproach, or judgment. You might have felt diminished in that moment. You might have felt like you were not heard or understood, or even that you were shut down. So today my invitation is to just let that go. Today my invitation is to be willing to shift your thoughts and feelings around this phrase, to lighten up. My invitation is to think a new thought about it, and dare I say, lighten up about lighten up. And I promise to give you some inspiration to assist you in doing that. As with so many phrases in the English language, There are many ways of looking at this idea to lighten up. Now, one idea of lighten up is to make heavy. Is to make less heavy, to make less heavy. Now, what comes up for me around this idea is the letting go of our baggage. The old patterns, beliefs, and stories that we have carried around with us throughout all of our lives. Those old stories and beliefs that no longer serve us. So while it's not this kind of heavy that the cartoon implies, all of our baggage is heavy. All of the resistance that we have to living a life that is filled with joy and peace and love makes us heavy, makes us energetically heavy. Carrying it around all day is just simply exhausting. Now I think about it like a ball and chain. And I imagine how light I would feel without carrying around all of this baggage, without dragging it along with me. And every time I think about how light I would feel, I get excited. There's a quote by an unknown author which says, sometimes you don't realize the weight of something you've been carrying until you feel the weight of its release. My invitation today is to lighten up, to be willing to make yourself and your energetic body less heavy, to be willing to let go of your baggage, the old patterns, beliefs, and stories that no longer serve the life that you wish to live. I promise you, as Sheila Burke says, the journey is much easier when you are not carrying your past. Now, another thought about this idea of lightening up, lightening up meaning to make less heavy, is the awareness that the universe is an energetic universe, that everything vibrates. Now, since everything in the universe is made up of energy, the thing that distinguishes one form of energy from another form of energy is the speed at which it vibrates. For example, something like a rock vibrates at a very low frequency, while light, on the other hand, vibrates at a very high frequency. Now, each one of us is also an energetic being, and like everything else in the universe, we all vibrate at different frequencies. Our thoughts and feelings determine the frequency at which we vibrate. Now, without making anyone wrong, and knowing that we are all doing the very best we can at any given moment, think about those people in your life who are very critical, or negative, or cynical. Those people are vibrating at a very low level. And now think about those people in your life who are very positive, who are cheerful, who see the glass as half full, who you think lead lives that are very vibrant. They vibrate at a very high level. In fact, that's one of the meanings of the word vibrant, to vibrate at a very high level. Now, either type of person has the ability to inspire us. On one hand, the person vibrating at a very high level encourages or inspires us to shift our vibrational level to a higher level. And on the other hand, the person that is vibrating at a very low level provides the right and perfect contrast, the right and perfect ability to show us exactly where we do not want to be vibrating and why. One of our most basic foundational needs as human beings is the need for connection. As you think about the people in your life, those vibrating that are vibrating at a very low level and those that are vibrating at a very high level, who are you drawn to? Who do you typically like to spend your time with? And as you are thinking about how that lands on you, realize that other people in your life are also realizing that. And so my invitation to you today is to lighten up and to notice how you draw unto yourself people that also vibrate at a high level, and then notice how that shifts the experience of your life. Lighten up and let your soul sing. Now, another meaning of the phrase to lighten up is to take matters less seriously. It says, don't take life so seriously, it's not like you're going to get out alive. Now, the underlying idea is to recognize that we live in a universe that is always for us and never against us. That if we could see each and every relationship, each and every situation, each and every circumstance through the eyes of God, with the faith of God, we could relax. We could surrender to divine right action and just allow it to flow through and as us. Now, Laura says, if God can make a bug's bottom light up to decorate the night sky, imagine all that he can do in your life. And I say, imagine all that it can do through and as you, with or without the lit up butt. Now, the invitation today is to have faith that in the end, everything will be just fine. The invitation is to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything is actually perfect just the way that it is. That there is a gift, a lesson, an opportunity for growth in each and every moment, no matter what our human perceptions may be trying to tell us. The Buddha says that when you realize how perfect everything is, you'll throw back your head and laugh at the sky. The invitation today is to lighten up and take life less seriously. Another meaning of the phrase to lighten up is to be luminous. Now, the truth is that there is nothing that we have to do to be luminous. It is who and what we, I love that word, luminous. It is who and what we are at our very core. We are spiritual beings having a human incarnation. We were created by God, out of God's stuff. We are the light of God itself. As children, when we arrived on the planet, we knew this. But then over time, through domestication, as Miguel Ruiz calls it, our memory of that began to dim. We have forgotten who and what we are. If you are here today, the light within you brought you here. You are awakening to the truth of who we are. The truth is that wherever we are on this spiritual path, it behooves us to lean into and align with our inner luminosity in order to gracefully maneuver through the experiences of our lives. We need to access this inner light in order not only to survive, but to thrive in an often chaotic world, in an often unpredictable world. The invitation today is to remember who you are, to be open to being the wisdom that is the inner light within, to be open to access the peace of this inner light. To be willing to be open to bring forth the unconditional love that is this inner light. To be willing to open to being the boundless joy that is this inner light. And to be willing to step powerfully into the unlimited possibility that is this inner light. The invitation today is to remember that luminous is who we are, and to lighten up so that we and everyone else can experience it. Another meaning of the phrase to lighten up is to illuminate, to cast rays of light upon. Now for me, this simply means that we let our light shine. And when I think about letting my light shine, two different things come up for me. One of them is probably more obvious than the other, and that is letting that light that is within me shine out into the world. Sharing the light that I am, the gifts, the talents, the quirks, and the imperfections with everything and everyone in every arena of my life. What is true for each of us is that that is why we are here on the planet at this time. We are the eyes, the ears, the hands, and the heart of God. If we are here, we have a purpose, and that purpose is to shine the light of God out into the world, to cast rays of light upon everything and everyone in our own unique and individualized way, the way that we were created to do. Now, each of us, the individualized expression that we are, is significant to the whole. The invitation is to lighten up the world with your willingness to cast your light upon it. Now, the second way that I think about this idea to illuminate and to cast rays of light upon is to do so within myself, recognizing that there might be moments in which I may not feel my best or my highest. So in those moments, I shine that inner light of truth up within me to root out all of the blocks or all of the ways that I have filtered my light. In those moments, I shine that inner light of truth within me to illuminate the places that need to be healed. The invitation to know that while it is not always easy and while it is not always comfortable, nobody's going to say anything about all those syllables? That it may not always be comfortable, we are the only ones who have the power to dim or to shine our own light. To know that as we clear away the dirt and the grime of the journey, as we lift the veil of our worldliness, that we will quite possibly be able to get ourselves far enough out of the way to feel the warmth of that light again. The invitation is to lighten up, not only for others, but also for ourselves. Another meaning of the phrase lighten up is to become lighter or brighter, to alter or to change, as in the paint will lighten up the room. The invitation today is to recognize that it is possible for us to change, that we can become different in essence, that we can become more and more of our higher selves. A simple shift in our thought from fear to faith, from lack to gratitude, can do wonders for our inner landscape. We do not have to stay stuck in the thoughts that we have always thought. We do not have to stay stuck in any particular emotional state. We have free will. We can think a new thought. And by thinking a new thought, those new thoughts will in turn change and shift our emotional and physical experience of life. The invitation today is to recognize that we can cause the world to change, that we can affect a different outcome, that we can co-create transformation of the planet, that each of us is part of a worldwide web, a web of connection, a deep and abiding connection with God, with each other, and with everything on the planet. Everything we are, everything we say, everything we do can affect everything and everyone else. It has the potential to affect everything. Now, we have the power to affect not only individuals, but we have the power to affect the collective. We have the power to affect the universal experience, whether we're aware of it or not. Now, though we may never know the impact we have or the scope of our influence, understanding and accepting this truth can help us to remember to live our lives from the divinity within, can help us to remember to live our lives from that light within, to choose what we say, what we do, and how we do and say it from that place. We can affect the world. The invitation today is to lighten up the world with your light, to be a woman or a man of increase, and to be someone through whom even the simplest of gestures demonstrates that kindness exists, that peace can be experienced, and the truth that love is all that there is. Now, I know you all like the practical side of these messages. So I have a few ideas from an article I found on an educational site called Wiki How to Do Anything. I place great faith in this article. Now, they kind of gave a two-pronged attack about this ability to lighten up. And one prong is letting go of expectations and negativity, letting go of expectations and negativity. So the first idea is to get rid of expectations of yourself and others. The inability to lighten up can sometimes be affected by the expectations that we have of ourselves or others. So the invitation is to let go of all the wants, needs, shoulds, and have-tos in order to be able to really lighten up. A second idea is to avoid stressful situations. Ha! Yeah. Now, stress can be one of the most significant factors in not being able to really lighten up. So avoiding stressful situations may minimize tension, and it may cultivate positivity, and it may help you lighten up just in general. Now, step back from any situation that you can, any stressful situation that you can, and when you can't, the idea is to take a deep breath. To take a deep breath and to allow yourselves just a moment so that you're not reacting. Because in those moments when you react, that heightened sense of stress and tension rises. But if you could take a moment to just be still, to take a breath, and to allow yourself, yes, to feel the feeling, but to not react. That if you could be in that moment without reacting, that there would exist a possibility of lightening up. That you could see it in a different way, that you could experience it in a different way, but it takes that moment of stillness, that moment of breath to do that. Another idea is to eliminate negativity. Negative thoughts turn into negative actions and negative attitudes. Limiting the negativity in your life can help you to lighten up and creates more positivity in your environment. Whenever something bad happens, and, bad in quotation marks, labeled as something we would call bad, then the idea is to let it move through you. We talked on Wednesday this last month, and the idea was to recognize that you are the witness. You are not the thought you are thinking. You are not the thing that's happening out here. You are not even the emotion. You are the witness to all of that. So if you can just stand there as the witness and watch as this experience flows through you, you would recognize that different experiences arise and then they dissolve. And then another one arises and then it dissolves. And if you could just be with that experience without calling it good or bad, without calling it something negative, that your life would lighten up. And the last one in this first prong is to forgive yourself and others. We always talk about that, don't we? Holding grudges and dwelling on your imperfections will only emphasize a negative attitude. Forgiving yourself and others can minimize tension, allow you to focus on the positive things within yourself and within others, and it will also help to teach you to lighten up. Forgive yourself and others. Now, the other prong is to find humor and positivity. So on one hand, letting go of something, and on the other hand, actively looking for positivity and humor. Now, within this prong, some of their ideas were to see the humor and positiveness in every situation. Now, even the most difficult situations have some positive and humorous moments. Now, they may not be immediately clear, but being able to recognize them and to laugh will help you to lighten up. Oftentimes, I think as we look back on situations and circumstances, we then have a different perspective and we can see that. But if you know that you have the ability to do that, that if it's happened once or it's happened twice, it could be happening right now. And maybe it would just be a lot more fun to recognize it right in the beginning. And to just laugh about it. No cussing. Just laughing. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. I should be good to go for a while now. Laugh at yourself. Part of being able to find the humor in any situation is to be able to laugh at yourself. Not only can this help you lighten up and relax, but it may also help keep everybody else laughing and relaxed. Being able to see the humor in your imperfections can help you accept yourself and show others that you don't take life so seriously. And that may encourage them to do the same, to be able to laugh at their imperfections. Another idea, here's that one. Another idea is to surround yourself with positive, supportive, and humorous people. See, just be here. Be here. It works every time. Having positive, supportive, and humorous people around you who can help you to cultivate a positive attitude, can help you to lighten up. Another idea is to expose yourself to, not expose yourself. Then you might really have to do some laughing. To expose yourself to humorous situations, I'm talking about. Medical research supports the fact that that laughter is the best medicine that there is. So exposing yourself to humor through jokes or through the media, such as television or movies. What's happening down there? Now, any type of laughing is good as long as it's not directed at somebody else's expense. Then any kind of laughter is good as long as it doesn't do that. And lastly, they suggest, which you know you can't get through too many messages without bringing this up too, that forgiveness thing, and this, set up a meditation practice. Meditation is a powerful method to really improve your focus and to become very relaxed. A few minutes a day to meditate in order to reap the benefits of that relaxation and that deep concentration, and you'll find that your life can indeed lighten up. So in order to create a world that works for everyone, we have to be able to see God everywhere we look. In everyone, in all things, in all circumstances, in all situations, in all experiences. Choosing to lighten up in any or all of the ways that were talked about today allows us to see as God sees, allows us to recognize the light that we are, and allows us to shine that light out into the world for ourselves and for each other. And when we do that, even individually, but individually and most certainly collectively, we will create a world that works for everyone. And so it is. Thank you. So I invite you to turn within. And as I do so, I am acutely aware of the power and presence of God that is within me and surrounding me. I know that it is who and what I am at my very core. I know that it is benevolent. I know that it is everywhere at all times. An energy with no circumference and points of center everywhere. I am one of those points. Each and every single person in this room is one of those points. Each of us is a unique and divine expression of God, an ambassador of the divine on the planet right here, right now, with a unique light to bring to the world. And it is from that place of unity and oneness that I speak a word of blessing about each and every single one of us this morning, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, that we were imbued when we arrived on the planet with the spark of the divine within us, with everything that we need to bring that forward powerfully. That we are luminous beings, we are energetic beings. We are beings with free will. And we can choose who it is we are going to be, how we are going to serve. And so what I know for us today and claim for us today is that as we lean into and align with the luminosity that we are, that there is ease and grace around living this life, around living a life that we love to live, around letting go of anything that gets in the way of our ability to shine that light. I claim and know for us that there is a way of living in which we can let loose all of our baggage, letting go of all of the old patterns and beliefs and stories that we have carried around for so long, and making ourselves energetically lighter. And that truly as we do that, we become an example for everyone else in our life. And as more and more of us lighten up, that becomes like a ripple on a lake and spreads far and wide, creating a world that works for everyone. And I'm so grateful to know this truth, so grateful to speak these words, so grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. And so I release this prayer with love and with gratitude and full expectation of its manifestation, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each one of us to anchor it for ourselves and for each other simply by saying, and so it is. Amen.